of the Christian faith. She's a member of First Presbyterian Church of Birmingham. She's been a member here her entire life. She is an ordained deacon in the church, meaning that she helps in ministries of caring, nurturing, and outreach. She also volunteers with the church's disability inclusion ministry. Emily is a junior at Seaholm High School and is an active member of the Flex program, which is an honors English and history course in which she has studied different cultures and religions and how to promote tolerance in her community. When she's not in school, Emily enjoys painting, drawing, and watching documentaries. She loves to learn and is very happy to be here with all of you this evening. Next to Emily is Rachel Berlin, who is of the Jewish faith. She is a senior at North Farmington High School and the president of Michigan Region CVYO, which is an organization for Jewish teens. Rachel spent the summer working as a counselor at Camp Tamarack, a Jewish overnight camp. She wants to be a political journalist when she's older and is very involved in her school's publications. And last but not least is Hiba Shabi, who is of the Muslim faith. She's a senior at Andover High School. She loves being a part of interfaith and diversity initiatives and looks forward to this and future face-to-face programs. So, okay, if you can keep your answers to, say, about 3 to 4 minutes, then we can probably get through all the questions. We do have 4 questions and time for the audience's questions. The first question for you is, what kind of diversity exists in your high school? What opportunities exist to cross the boundaries of race, religion, and ethnicity? What opportunities would you like to see developed in your high school that aren't currently there? So we'll start with you.
Hey, I'm Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Hey, Emily.
Seaholm University. There's not a lot. Mostly white Christian kids, but we have a larger Jewish population than at Groves, which is the other Birmingham field school. I know of a couple of Muslims.
I'd question that.
Not a lot. There's Diversity Club and Birmingham Voice. I've never taken part in any of those. I don't know. Never really for me. I'd like to see. It may not seem that realistic, but the major separation of religion and school, it's like that is an issue with me. Just the fact that there's so much history that's left out of the textbooks just because it happens to be parallel with religion, and that just seems wrong to me. And that's something that I would like to see developed in our school systems.
Okay, so I'm Rachel. Hi. I go to North Farmington, and recently we've become very diverse in our population. And I've always kind of felt more, not at home, but more connected when I'm with my Jewish friends. And recently I've broadened my friend group, and because of that I've been seeing a whole different side of my school. In my school it's very easy to get to stay just clustered, and in the lunchroom you sit with your Jewish friends, or the Chaldean kids sit over here, and it's you kind of have to work to break that. When I was a junior, I joined my school's publications, and I kind of saw it was crazy. The editor-in-chief was a Muslim student, and the design editor went to church every Sunday, and then I do my youth group, and I'm very Jewish, and it just like shocked me how much like it was able to blend together. And that was the first time that I really realized like how much diversity can play a big part in like who we are and how we like develop as people. I would just like I have like world religion. So you're saying that we don't see the separation of church and state and all that. Like I was in a world religions class in my school, and we were able to talk freely about all that stuff. But and like keeping those conversations alive in school, and just not like making sure you don't overstep your boundaries. I think that is something that I would really like to see more developed.
My name is Hiba. I go to Andover High School. Like Struck said, there's actually a lot of diversity at Andover compared to I used to live in Indiana, where it was pretty much everybody was white. There was very, very little diversity in where I used to go to school. So Andover is very diverse. There are Muslims, Christians, Jews. There are, people of all different ethnicities, and it's nice. Although, as Ross said, there's a lot of people do tend to stick to their own group. Opportunities to cross the boundaries. They're mainly in classes working with other people. One of my teachers actually said that she is very glad to see, like, when she sees the Muslim girl working with the Jewish boy work out a problem, or Christian working with Jew, or that kind of thing. But otherwise, it's still very hard to cross boundaries. Last year we did have an interfaith program in the school, and I would like to see more programs like that to create meaningful connections between people of different religions and ethnicities. Have that kind of thing grow.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move on to our second question. And Eva, I think we'll start with you, and we'll move down that way. And I'm just wondering if you use Rachel's microphone. I'm wondering if that works better, because we heard her loud and clear. Okay, second question. What misconceptions or stereotypes have you faced about your faith in school or your neighborhood or in public places? So we're focusing in on misconceptions or stereotypes about your faith.
A lot of the people that I've met have been generally very, especially here, they're very used to diversity, but oftentimes they simply they see me, and at first glance I look very different, so they just have no idea how exactly I'm different from them and how exactly I'm the same. So I really just try to, reach out, try to show them how a lot of the things between us are the same, and yet I can still hold on very very strongly to my own beliefs, and I can still have my own flaws and my own passions and things like that.
For my table, we were talking about this a lot and talking about how, sometimes your friends think it's funny to throw like a penny on the ground, like, oh, take it off, and I'm just like, oh, who doesn't like money? But I don't take off the penny, I swear. But and like in high school, like I'm considered, like I've gotten called like Jappy, which means that like I'm a certain type of like Jewish girl that, like, oh, like I'm spending my daddy's credit card, no big deal. And I'm not like that at all, but because of, just because there is like a small portion of Jewish teen girls that act that way, I get typecasted as that when I'm not like that at all. So, it's like in public places, it's not that big of a deal because like in the West Bloomfield, Parking Hills community, it's not shocking to see a Jewish girl or anyone in my neighborhood. Like I live in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood, so nothing like that is ever happening. But I don't know. sometimes like I feel like I have to go out of my way to show that I'm not this like stereotypical Jewish girl, and I like have a voice, and like I don't know. I think that I'm very grateful for what I have, and like the stereotypes that come up are so false and so like deeply rooted into the Jewish culture that I don't think that there's that much I can do about it besides show that who I am and like that I'm not like this. So yeah.
For me, being a Christian, I mean, it may seem like just it's so common at my school that we have been raised Christian, but it's different to be to an active Christian. Like it's not nearly as common as the active practicing Jews that I know. People, I face a lot of stereotypes, I feel like, because, well, I didn't used to be I never made it public that I was active with my faith. And then when I started to, people, like, assumed, thought that I didn't know what I was talking about. Like, and then once I started making it clear that I really do practice Christianity, then it started getting like these like newer stereotypes, like that I'm like that Christians are closed-minded and feel holier than thou, or that because I'm Christian that I'm homophobic. It's all shocking to me. I'm like, no. I love learning about other religions. I love science. I'm not. I feel like I have issues with I've had issues with friends over the fact that I'm Christian, because that was the most surprising thing to me when I opened up about my faith to my peers.
Thank you. My first question for this evening: what is the hardest teaching or practice of your faith for you to follow? And after you explain what that is, can you tell us why? Why don't we start with you? Go that way.
All right. Hardest teaching. Being in high school, girls get catty, and it's really easy to make enemies in high school. And I feel like the hardest thing these days has been to stick with the idea that even your enemies are God's children, and He loves them, so you must love them. You must learn to love them too. That's hard sometimes. That I struggle with every day. Every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this person. Yeah. Oh, but they're God's children too. Oh, but He loves them. He loves that person. I gotta try. It's hard. Hopefully that'll get better. But I don't think it
So I have like some trouble with this question because for me, being Jewish and following Jewish faith isn't that hard. So I kind of like asked around like, oh, what's hard for you? And I got a lot about like food, like keeping kosher, which means that you don't mix meat and dairy, or or like Passover, where we change what we eat for 10-ish days, and we don't eat bread and all that stuff. But that's not really hard for me. When you're younger, I think that all this stuff seems like such like a burden on you. Like I hated sitting through services, and I hated fasting for Yom Kippur which is our holiday where we atone for our sins in the past year. And then 2 summers ago, I went to Israel, which was like a crazy, like life-changing, mind-opening trip that really just changed how I viewed myself as a Jew. And I started to not see all these, like the practices of my faith as burdens, but more like I enjoyed going to my Hebrew school. I enjoyed praying and all that stuff because it made me, be connected to the worldwide 2,000-year-old religion, which is amazing. I do think it's really frustrating to me though. More recently, I feel like it's the divide between like Reform Judaism and Conservative Judaism and Orthodox Judaism is getting so large that an Orthodox Jew could look at me and say I'm not Jewish because I'm Reformed. Or, there's just all this stuff going on, or people don't see like a Reformed rabbi as Jewish, so how can they see me as Jewish? And it makes me feel so bad because when we're so small, we're such a small population of the world fighting for our freedom and independence every single day, fighting to like have our voices be heard, that we can have these divides between our own religion really just frustrates me. And that's something that's hard for me to follow, that just because you were a certain sect of Judaism that means that you're more Jewish. I think that's absurd. So I'll end on the word absurd because I like that word. Absurd.
I feel like I'm gonna echo what these girls have said. Like Rachel said, it is sort of a hard question to answer because not that everything is absolutely easy, but for the most part, it's just I've made my religious faith just a part of my life. This is what I do. One of the things that it can get hard sometimes is fasting. Ramadan just ended a few weeks ago, actually, and for 29 or 30 days straight, we fast from dawn to dusk. So it does get sometimes pretty hard, but you work through it, and it is gratifying at the end to know that you were patient through it all. And like Emily said, sometimes one of the hardest things is when you want to get angry at somebody and snap at them. You realize that you're supposed to have compassion for people and be forgiving and do that. Those sorts of things, and be just like trying to make yourself a better person day in, day out. That sometimes can be difficult.
Great, wonderful comments. All right, our last question of the evening. We're going now from sort of the hardest negative thing to a real positive thing. What is your favorite teaching or practice of your faith? And then tell us, please, why. So, Eva, can we begin with you?
This may be a little bit controversial, but my favorite practice of my faith is actually wearing the hijab, wearing the scarf. And to me, it's what it symbolizes because, to me, my religion is very important, and I like to have that reminder first for myself every day that my religion is a big part of my life, and I need to keep that in mind. And second of all, what it symbolizes to me is that what you may look like, both your physical appearance and your reputation among people, isn't necessarily what matters. What really matters is what kind of person you are on the inside. And friends are not friends because you like the way they look, but because there's something about them, about their character and their personality that you love. And so that's what the scarf represents to me, that you have to get to know people for who they truly are. So that's what I love about the hijab or the scarf.
I don't know if I can like narrow it down. I really enjoy being Jewish, and I really enjoy what my religion stands for and who it tries to like raise me to be. I always think that's really important. I don't I don't know. I just think we have such like a rich culture and history. So I just love the fact that wherever there's a song that you sing in like when you're like in like preschool or whatever, and it's like wherever you go, there's always someone Jewish. It's like the whole song. It's the cutest thing ever. And I mean, it's true. Like I could be anywhere and I could meet someone that's Jewish and have this like immediate kinship with them. And I think that's so important. And like the struggles that we face with like the Holocaust and just who we've been as a faith and like a people that we can like rise through everything and still stay so strong and united. I think that's really important. I also like about Judaism how like you support other religions. Like you were talking about how there's the whole thing with the Jewish community and the Chaldean community. Like I think that's really important. Or how like in Haiti when the earthquake happened in Haiti, Israel was actually the first country to go and help because we do tikkun olam and we do things which means like repairing our world and helping others. So like I always just like that giving back aspect of my religion, which is the sins. Like I personally think like I am who I am, and I think I'd be the same. And like I love the opportunities that Judaism has given me, like doing BBYO and just being involved in who I am in like my community. But I feel like if I was any other religion, I'd have the same opportunities and like just take the same advantages because I am who I am.
My favorite teaching practice, being a Christian, a big part of being a Christian is teaching others, spreading it. And everybody knows about all the Christian missionaries conquering the globe, but and there's that, although it may have brought negative stuff, it really does come from a good place. I mean, it is my absolute favorite thing in the world to tell somebody what it means to be a Christian, to teach them about Jesus. And I mean, I grew up in a house where my parents didn't know anything about Christianity. Still, really, I don't know. Christianity was going to church. I learned in first grade that Christianity is not going to church. Not going to church. It's just like so much more. It just really excites me when somebody asks about it or somebody doesn't really understand and I get to explain it. Like that, nothing makes me happier than getting to share God's love.
All right. We're going to open it up now for any questions that you might have for any of the three panelists.